Before we get into it, want to remind everyone tuning in that we continue to be presented by betonline.ag. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. If you really think you know your stuff, get in on the $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of that $200,000. When the game's over, head on over to the online casino, get in on a game of blackjack, poker, or unwind with over 150 different slot games. Head to the website today, that's betonline.ag, to get in on the action. BetOnline, the game starts here. And of course, we continue to be proudly presented by our good friend, Chris Anicetti and his team over at Oak Ridge Wealth Management. If you are a current or future professional athlete or a collegiate athlete with NIL endorsements, Chris Anicetti is the man that you need to connect with to get your money right. Over at Oak Ridge, Chris and his team of professionals will create a comprehensive financial plan to set you up to navigate your lifestyle in future market conditions. They specialize in wealth management for professional athletes and understand all of the pressures that you face every single day. Chris and his team will set you up with a bespoke plan to make your money work for you off the field so you can focus on what you do best, perform on the field. Get in touch with Chris on Instagram at OakBridgeWM_Anicetti. That's OakBridgeWM_ANICETE, or head on over to the website, oakbridgewealthmgmt.com. That's Chris Anicetti and Oak Ridge Wealth Management.
Sorry.
All right, welcome back to the Bleav in Badgers / Money Down post-game show. We got a little thinner crew tonight here. We got we got the fantastic threesome of myself, Sweet Feet James White, the man himself, Dub Warren Herring.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of dubs, y'all,
Big
dub today
Big dub.
for the Badgers. Like the homie Joey says, can we get directions to the woodshed? Because Rutgers took one today.
Oh, yeah, we took them.
Absolutely took one today. So we appreciate y'all tuning in to Bleav in Badgers on the Bleav Network, presented by betonline.ag and Oak Ridge Wealth Management. Guys, let's just kick it off right here, because back-to-back weeks, we didn't do a live show last week, but back-to-back weeks, we got a combined 94-13 scores in 2 Big Ten games. Yeah, I know Purdue isn't exactly the greatest team, but they just put up 49 in Illinois today in overtime. And Illinois is a top 25 team. Rutgers had a good D, but Wisconsin's ground game just came out, James, today. And honestly, dude, they looked like you and Monty and Melvin back then. They were just
Yeah, I gotta give this team a ton of credit, with all the criticism, from us, from other people, all across Wisconsin, everywhere else. We're giving them a hard time at the start of this year. Not really sure what we're going to see from them going forward. These past 2 games, they've really come to play. Shout out to this offensive line. I think it starts up front. They're giving Braden Locke plenty of time to throw the football, opening up holes for these running backs. Tyree Walker, I think he's one of the best pickups we've had from this offseason. Even with the banged up knee, in those first few games, he's doing it all with a knee brace out there balling this week today, out there toting and running through tackles, breaking off long runs. I mean, I think he's a tone setter for this team, man. I love that they're mixing in the backs too. Darian Dupree, Yakameli got in there. He ripped off a long run too. So, look, if we can continue to establish this run game, it makes it easier on Braden. I think it makes it easier on these receivers on the outside. Had a couple shots down the field. Vinny Anthony, another big play. He's definitely that spark player for us that I truly thought we needed over the last several years. Just somebody that can take the top off the defense or can make a big play. Maybe not every game, but every few games, just creating a spark for this offense. I think that's much needed.
Yeah, Warren, I mean, you're a resident man of the trenches. What's this offensive line doing that's so effective right now?
They're playing together, for one, and they're playing aggressive. They're playing physical. I mean, you can see that over the last couple of weeks, this game and last week against Purdue, just like they're different. I think that they took the first few weeks, they took it to heart, and they wanted to establish Wisconsin brand of football, and that's exactly what they're doing. Nobody's changed up front. Nothing's changed. I just think it's their demeanor and their mentality and the way they're carrying themselves into these games. They want to produce a physical game, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like White Marlin said, said here, back-to-back games of 500 yards for the first time in nearly a decade and a half.
Yeah.
I mean, that's back since your freshman year, James.
Yeah,
they had 2
it's
games
a
in a
long
row
time.
with 500 yards in back-to-back games. And to me, like, Tawi Walker looked like Monty Ball today. Like he was running, like it felt like vintage Monty out there, and that's a great thing for this offense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, he's been consistent. For me, ever since game one, he's been a solid football player for us. I know he was mixing time with Ches, early on, and then now he's kind of taking over that lead back role. I think he's wearing it on his shoulders. I think we need a guy like that on offense to take the onus. Obviously, the offensive line doing their part, but it has to be somebody in the skill position group that's going to be like, look, put the ball in my hands. I'm going to go make it work. I'm going to grind out, get 3 and 4 yards a pop, and look. And then, Braden, you hit the throws when we need to hit the throws, and we go out there and execute. So, man, hopefully they keep this going. I think we're starting to find, a little bit of an identity, on offense. We play physical in the run game. Hey, we got under center a few times today, scored a touchdown on one of the runs. Not saying that we have to get under center all the time, but if we can continue to mix that in, I think that helps. Break some tendencies. Look, these guys up front, they're used to blocking, like that, man. You know what I'm saying? They're used to blocking from the under center power, zones, outside zones, and all that. So mixed in there, doing some stuff that they're pretty accustomed to doing. So I gotta give Phil Longo his credit too. We've been beating him up over the last couple of weeks. He's gotten together these last 2 weeks, man. He's dialed up a good plan. They mixed in some tempo today too, which I think helps this offense. I mean, Rutgers are struggling to get lined up, got some few easy access plays. So the more we can keep that in there, I think that gives us advantage against some of these more talented defenses. But I thought this was going to be a tough matchup. I mean, I was watching Rutgers against, they played Nebraska last week. They struggled before, so I thought this would be a good matchup for us. They'll stop their run game. They did that. Slowed Kyle Monangai down to get like 3.8 yards per carry. Slow them down, then make Callie McManus try and make some throws, which he's struggling to do that all game long. So I got to give the defense credit too to only give up 7. I know their offense isn't explosive, but to stop them doing from what they do really well, that's what it's all about.
Well, I mean, they have a good run game. Kyle Monangai has been one of the best backs in college football for the first 6 weeks of the season up until today. And Wisconsin really was able to bottle him up really, really well in this game, which I thought was really impressive. One other thing that stands out to me on offense, I actually want to talk about the defense more tonight because the offense, now we've seen this 2 weeks in a row, just looking really strong. But it's looking like almost more, it's old school Wisconsin football just out of the gun because you see them run deep pass. And we saw a couple of those more big hitters today. And, I've been shouting this name on every single episode, I think for like 2 years now, Vinny Anthony. All that dude does is make big plays.
Yeah.
He's a gamer, man. Him, I think like Tretch too. Like Tretch, he makes plays pretty consistently. But Vinny, get him his reps, get him his targets. He needs at least one deep target a game.
At minimum.
At minimum. Look, he's proven he can get behind guys. He's making contested catches too. The one today was contested. And he still almost scored. So look, this kid has been that spark player for us. It's definitely been cool to see. And like you said, it is kind of like old school Wisconsin. We run, be a shot to Aberdaris, run, shot to Nick Toon or somebody. You run, shot to Gilroy, whoever it is. You know what I'm saying? Because eventually, defense have to respect your run game. There's going to be a lot of single high safety. You're going to get a lot of one-on-ones on the outside. So guys are going to have to win. Look, man, I'm just glad there's more receivers emerging aside from, Will Paul. I know he got banged up a little bit. Yeah. Kind of back-to-back weeks he's been banged up. So hopefully he gets back healthy. Because if we get a consistent, 3 receivers in there, look, man, things can get good. I mean, I know early on in the season, I said when you get to start seeing things inconsistently consistent, that's a problem. Now we're starting to see those good things consistently. So that's good, man. We can continue to stack these games. Look, it builds that confidence from a coaching staff, from player, quarterback, offensive line, start building that chemistry. You just got to keep it rolling.
Yeah, and another dominant game from this offensive line. But, Warren, I want to switch over to the defense here because the strides that this defense have made are pretty impressive, especially considering they're basically just playing 2 down linemen the whole time. They were able to bottle up the run. And so we've been doing this segment here on Bleav in Badgers called Hang Your Hat On It, presented by Mellon, the world's most durable hat. And so, Warren, what I want to know from you as we talk about what the Badgers could hang their hat on, make sure you go to Mellon.com, MELIN.com, and put it to the test yourself. Mellon hats. We're hanging our hats. Warren, I thought the defense played well at all 3 levels today, But what I want to know from you is what was the defense really able to hang their hat on today?
I'm going to be honest with you. One of the things we haven't seen a lot of, or one of the things that we've talked about that we've seen a lot of these last couple of weeks is the play of your front six. I'm going to say front six because we got two down linemen and four outside, four backers basically. But the physicality, like against a team that is dominant in the run game. Obviously, it's a Rutgers team. People want to say, "Oh, it's Rutgers," but they're 4-1 riding momentum, and you got a really good running back in Kyle Monangai in the backfield who is probably one of the best running backs in the country, right? But just being able to see those guys play physical, reset the line of scrimmage. You had a few really good TFLs today. I really enjoy watching how Daryl Peterson played today. Like that's a guy that I really wanted to see, break out I don't want to say break out of his shell, but have a breakout game. And I think his name was called a lot on a lot of key plays that were made today. But also like seeing Jaheim Thomas and Jake Chaney fly around, linebackers' eyes being disciplined, being able to come up, fill gaps, and make plays, getting some good run throughs. I mean, obviously we knew coming into this season that we were going to have a really good defensive backcourt. I mean, that's something that we were expecting, right? They play well together. They fly around. Preston Zachman, flying around, seeing him a lot, make plays this season. But that front six, those linebackers and those D linemen have really played well. And just like Matthew says, Hillis and Lane, I mean, they're doing a great job, man. So great to see guys that we can rotate in, keep guys fresh and guys chomping at the bit to compete. So it's good to see that. And hopefully we continue to carry that momentum moving forward.
Yeah, and I want to kind of piggyback off that. I think this started the USC week. Those guys, the level of effort, was different on the defensive side of the ball. That game, I know, that USC ended up, kind of piling on at the end, but I felt like they were competing all game long, and that carried on, after that game, stacking into this game, playing together. The effort just has to be there because I didn't know whether we'd be a good run defense based on those first few weeks out of the season when struggling against South Dakota, everyone else. But it seems like, everybody's kind of getting the memo, getting downhill, playing physical, getting off blocks, playing together. Look, just keep chasing that consistency. I love the effort of what I'm seeing from them. Like I said, we know what's going to be in the back end. Those guys are going to be around the ball. They're going to make plays when they get the opportunity, like they did today. So, look, if the front six or front seven, however you want to call it, if they continue to attack, like it doesn't have to be perfect, just to play with good effort, I think we'll be solid.
Yeah, and I want to give a huge shout to Ben Barton. He's a guy who's been, working his butt off in the program. He's a fifth year now, and he's been put into a starting role. And you know what? I think he's grown as much in these from week one to now. Like week one, he was getting washed down a lot. We saw he wasn't holding up at the point of attack. Now he is holding dudes up. He's splitting double teams. He's taking on multiple blockers. And that dude deserves his flowers because that kid has put in so much work and effort to get to a place where he is now that I just want to I want to give him a huge shout out because he's kind of been an unsung hero, and I'm so impressed by his growth.
I would say one of the things that as a defensive lineman, and again, I want to give him his kudos as well because being a guy that doesn't get seen a ton amongst the defense and whatnot, but being able to hold your own, improve week to week. But I really believe that it's the competition in that D-line room, right? He's a veteran. He's a veteran presence. You got to show the young guys how to do it. But I want to say it's the confidence that they've gained over the course of the last couple of weeks. Because like you said,
Wisconsin.
Exactly.
Farm strong. He got that farm strength in him.
Yeah. Hey, he's strong now. But it's just that in a competition in that room, I think they continue to push each other. I remember, going through seasons with, Bo Allen and Ethan Hemer and David Gilbert, Tyler Dipple, Louis Nzegwu, JJ, obviously my freshman. I didn't get a chance to play with him, but, just that's what you have to do as a defensive front. You have to be able to push each other and compete because when you only running two down linemen at a time, everybody wants to get out there on the field. So you have to be able to compete with one another to get out there and make plays. And I think that's what's also pushing the guys to move forward because, guys want to play.
Yeah, absolutely. And what was crazy to me, there were even times Rico dropped a pick on the first drive. There were more plays for them to make there. And, what they let up 7 and Rutgers basically had one drive all game that they got momentum. Wisconsin had a nice 4th down stop earlier in the game. Got probably got a little bit lucky with the block field goal with the bad snap, but still, like, you know, I mean, they were on it though. Like, they were on it. I was a little disappointed, Preston Zachman, that you didn't get that scoop and score. You should have had it. It was close, not quite. But you know, yeah, I felt like, you know, we're nitpicking now when we're looking at that kind of stuff, because, you know, we talked about this team being consistently inconsistent the first couple of weeks. They've been consistently consistent now in the past, you know, 3 weeks in a lot of ways against USC. Yeah, they had the second half collapse, but like, I want to talk just a little bit more about these linebackers though, because you mentioned Daryl Peterson. He had his best game of the season for sure.
For sure. Yeah.
Like, I mean, levels above. I noticed, you know, especially on third down, I've noticed they're moving him down inside. Like, he was playing like 3-eye on third and long, getting him rushing the inside, putting him on some stunts. And I really like to see that they're getting creative, and I'm starting to see some stuff. I'm starting to see some Jimmy Leonard stuff in there. I'm starting to see, you know, I love, you know, they had a couple third and longs, you know, they were showing full blitz, right? You know, they would have 3 guys, like they 8 in the box, they're dropping guys, confusing Kaliak Manis.
Sending 5 and 6. Yeah.
This is starting to be some of like that Wisconsin defense stuff that we really got used to. And I love what we're seeing the last couple of weeks. And there's an energy on this team. And I think a lot of that goes to Braden Locke and his confidence.
Yeah. Oh, like he's playing much better. Shout out to him. I mean,
bro,
making plays, playing smart,
but pushing the ball downfield.
Being aggressive. Not being scared. Yeah.
I loved the fact, first play of the game, shotgun play action, deep shot to Will Pauling. Did he catch it? No, he overthrew him by a little bit. But Pauling absolutely smoked his guy off the line. And the next play, their corners will line up 2-3 yards deeper. Yeah. And just because they're like, okay, well, like, we're really going to have to respect that. And you know this, James, when those D-backs are playing a couple steps further back, you as a running back are going to have a lot more fun.
A lot of running lanes. You got to give Braden Locke a lot of credit. Like I said, got to give Longo credit too for calling the plays, and then Locke, I mean, you got to let it rip. Not always going to be complete. Look, even when it's incomplete, it makes those defensive backs worry, especially if they're getting beat. So, okay, maybe I gotta respect that deep ball a little bit. And look, you get some running lanes, you get some easy underneath throws, catch and run plays. So, yeah, I got to give him his credit. He was efficient today. Took some shots. I know he had the interception and stuff. But look, keep being aggressive, man. Like I said, you ain't got nothing to lose. Like you weren't the starter originally. Got your opportunity. Maximize on it. Just go out there, have fun, play ball. You got a running game going. And look, I like what I'm seeing from the kid. And I think somebody posed a question in there, like, do we have our quarterback going forward? We might. Look, if he keeps balling the way he is, you know, throughout this entire season, I do think it still needs to be a competition, you know, come training camp next year between him and whoever they bring in, and, you know, Marbury and whoever's out there competing. They'll just hand it over to him. But look, if he keeps this thing rolling, I got to give this kid a ton of credit, being thrown in a tough spot. You know, in 2 years he's been thrown in, you know, kind of tough spots, and he's handled it pretty well. So I got to give him a ton of credit.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, I got to say, like, what I was also impressed with this team is that they were able to travel to, you know, it's not easy to travel to New Jersey for an early game, you know, time clock where, you know, they just got there yesterday. Like, you know, and they turned around and they came out with intention, and they didn't mess around. They did not come up to play tiddlywinks and, you know, try to get cute. They let the offensive line set the tone. They let that offensive line set the tone, and that was really good. And it was really good to see them sort of get there and be physical. And after a physical game, I know a lot of these dudes are going to be reaching for a Cherub Bundy. Cherub Bundy, it's the good stuff, right? We are proud now to be supported by Cherub Bundy here on Bleav in Badgers. They sent me and Bernie some of the stuff, and I've been drinking it every single day. And now I'm kind of addicted. My wife's been drinking this forever. She's a triathlete. She loves the stuff. I didn't know, but I mean, Warren,
I will tell you,
the sleep on fire too.
Yeah, the sleep was good. Hey, and when I tell you, I never got sick. I never got sick at UW, like at all, like because I would have like a cherry bundy or 2 a day. Yeah, never got sick. Yeah, the antioxidants and it's all good for you. Like it helps your body. Like never got sick. I promise you.
I almost forgot about those cherry bunnies. He told us the other day that y'all were sponsored by them. I might have to go ahead and
protein was fire too. Protein was fire too.
We're gonna get you the hookup on that one, guys, because these are used not not just by us, not just by the Badgers, but by 66 out of 67 Power 4 conference teams, 10 of the last 11 Super Bowl champs. Every team playing in Europe and Brazil this season had Cherubundy with them. They've been on the sidelines for every NCAA football and basketball champ since 2007. They've got the antioxidants. They help your immunity. They reduce your soreness. Anti-inflammatory, man. This is where it's at. Cherubundy.com, CHERIBUNDI.com, or in grocers around the country. Get in on some Cherubundy. You will not be disappointed. Just trust us on this one. Tart cherry juice. It is where it is at. Also where it's at right now is, I think, just the overall mood and the vibe is so good. And so I think that, after a victory like this, after 2 victories in a row, we see, people are starting to get some juice around the program. And so, Adam over on Instagram wants to know sort of where do we stand now for expectations for the rest of the season, Warren? Do you think, is it possible to run the table? We don't get too far ahead of us. They got Northwestern next week at Northwestern on the lake. It's going to be cold and windy probably on the lake at that new stadium, which is kind of wild. I kind of wish I was going to be in Chicago for that. It seems like kind of a fun place to take a game. But Northwestern just went out yesterday and beat the brakes off of Maryland at Maryland. Mm-hmm. This is not going to be an easy game next week. Wisconsin always struggles with Northwestern. I can't explain why. It makes no sense to me why, but they always do. It's something about
it's a horrible place to play. Bro, I'm talking about just the atmosphere is so dead, bro. When you gotta that's a game where you gotta bring your own juice. You gotta be able to hype yourself up. You can't rely on the crowd noise and all that stuff to get your juice. You gotta, and especially, and it's gonna be later in the season. We got 2 more weeks, or next week. We play next week, so it's gonna be, it might be a little chilly. It was chilly a little bit today.
It's gonna get a little breeze.
It's gonna get a little breezy. It was supposed to rain today here in Chicago, so it's just you don't know what you're gonna get from a weather standpoint, but it's just one of those games where Northwestern's a hard place to play because of the environment. Obviously, tough team, right? And they're tough every year, even though, regardless of what their record says. But I think for us, in terms of rest of the season expectations, it's hard to say. I do believe that if we continue to ride our momentum, we continue to take our chances, we continue to get better. Can we run the table? It is a possibility. I will always say anybody can get beat on any given Saturday. And we could be one of those teams with 2 losses, with a playoff opportunity. But we have to continue to ride our momentum. We have to continue to get better each week, especially still having Oregon and Penn State on the schedule, or Oregon, Iowa, and Penn State on the schedule over the next few weeks. We have to be able to be consistent. Do I think we do it? That's tough.
It's tough.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm probably gonna say no. Just because of what we've been able to see from the other teams. I do believe
Oregon's going to be tough.
Oregon's going to be very tough. Oregon and Ohio State are playing a very tough game right now.
Penn State's going to be tough.
Penn State's going to be tough. They just squeaked one out against USC at the Coliseum. Iowa, that's going to be a physical game. So if we look like Wisconsin from week 1, 2, and 3 against Iowa, that's not going to be a good game for us. We have to play Wisconsin branded football. We got to be physical, and we got to be able to put the ball in the end zone, because we're gonna. I believe for a fact that we'll be able to stop them on the defensive side of the ball. Iowa, struggles in the pass game. We'll probably end up stacking the box, sending some different looks to get Matt
like they did today,
they did today. But again, without getting too far ahead, I do think it's a possibility. Do I think we do it? No, but it's there.
Yeah. My expectation is still pretty similar until we, go toe to toe and beat one of these teams like Oregon, Penn State. Then my expectation is still kind of the same. The rest of the games on the schedule, I feel like we should be favored and should win in all those football games, in my opinion, especially if we're continue to play the way that we're playing right now. So look, in 2 weeks when we play Penn State, when we play those guys, if we get a win, play them close, then maybe I'll look at it a little bit differently. But we got to be able to, play those the upper echelon opponents and play the same way we're playing right now. It can't just be against the Rutgers and against Northwesterns and those type teams. You got to be able to go toe to toe. Even if we play those guys pretty closely, I think that gives me a level of confidence. I know a few weeks ago we played Alabama. We got beat down pretty handily. That doesn't give me confidence. I know we're a different team currently right now. That doesn't give me confidence when we go into the games against the Penn States. I know it's a different type offense, or against the Oregon. So for me, we just got to continue to see it. And the more I see it consistently, then I think I'll continue to believe. But it's definitely attainable. Because look, I love the way they played against USC in that first half. Obviously, the second half didn't quite show it the way we want to, but that shows me like we can do it. And I know USC, they're struggling, going on a little skid right now, but that's a talented football team. They can go toe to toe with anybody in the country if you line them up. So I have a lot of belief. I have some confidence. It's just, I want to see it against those opponents, who are, quote unquote, a little bit tougher for us.
For sure. One of the last questions, Badger question I want to ask Tim from YouTube. James, do you see similarities between Darion Dupree, the true freshman, and yourself? Because I think there are a lot of us out there who see not just, the receiving ability to me is there, but what stands out to me as a true freshman and what stood out to me about you as a true freshman is you can pass block. Yeah. And there are not a lot of true freshman backs that can pass block.
Yeah, it's tough. And I like this kid. I've been talking about him ever since I saw his high school highlights when, he committed to Wisconsin and everything. Had plenty of faith in him. So I definitely see a lot of myself in him. I think he's even a little bit more advanced than what I was. We didn't throw the ball a ton. My freshman year is a lot of run plays, wasn't too many, catching many passes out of the backfield, and they're already starting to use him in that aspect. So to me, I know he hasn't played as much as probably I did as of this point, but I think those reps will, start to, pick up some. I do think they need to scheme some more plays up for him too. Just like the Tretches, the Will Paulins, scheme it up for him. Get him a jet sweep, get him a touch pass, or line him up receiver, get him a screen, get the ball in his hands to see what this kid can do. Because I truly think the more you get him the rock, we'll continue to see big plays come from him.
Yeah, definitely. They got a nice little shovel pass there in the first half too. I thought that was a nice little game we saw last week. He made a huge third down, like a 18-yard catch out of the backfield. Big first down conversion last week. And I just think overall, like he's, the game's starting to slow down for him a little bit, and you can see it. And I think now that, we all wish, we all want Ches to get healthy and get back into where he wants to be. But like you see, they've got 3 guys now that they're putting in there for the reps, and those guys are all now getting into rhythm. Instead of when they were putting 5-6 guys, they're trying to rotate. Like, how much does that rhythm matter for a running back, James?
It matters for sure. It's tough when you go in for a series, maybe you don't go in the next series, you get back in the mix. It's not very easy, but I guess if you have an understanding, of what that rotation is going to be like, then you're a little bit more comfortable. Say, I know when we were in college, like Monty would get a series, and I would get a series, we kind of rotate, then the hot hand, kind of stays in there. And if he gets tired, then I go in. So there's an understanding, then it's not too hard. If it's more of a, you don't know when you're going in, that's kind of tough. Right now, I don't really see. It's just more of him spelling, Tawe when he's a little tired. So it's kind of hard to get in the rhythm that way when, you may get in for a play or two, then you're out for the next 10 plays. But look, that's why I say, create a personnel for him, create more packages for him so he knows there's going to be opportunities for him, all throughout the game. Definitely.
All right, Warren. Well, we're going to get out of here on this. What else caught your eye this weekend in college football, Warren?
Oh, right now, this Ohio State-Oregon game is going crazy. And also, I'm watching LSU Ole Miss right now. That's a really tough game right now. LSU or Ole Miss is getting ready to, not getting ready to, but they're in position to score. So we'll see what happens there. I see Tennessee and Florida
coming down to the wire.
Hey, what really caught my eye? Alabama ain't what we think they are, to be honest, in my opinion.
I knew that from when they played us. Like I said, I know they beat us down, but I can see there's some holes in that team.
For sure. But Alabama's always – I feel like they've always struggled against a quarterback that can extend plays and get out of the pocket. And Sellers had a really great game of doing that today. And just like, you could see South Carolina being able to be physical with Alabama and push them around just like Alabama was doing on the opposite side of the ball. Obviously, Jalen Milroe threw a pick and things like that and made a couple mistakes. But, Alabama's beatable. So, I'm interested to see how college football is going to shake out, through the course of the season. Yeah.
It's wild. And a shout out to former Badger Chimry DK for scoring that game time touchdown with less than 30 seconds.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Chim.
Shout out to Chim, man. Like, I love to see the former Badgers succeed at the other places that they go. Like, Graham's been up and down, but man, I think they're starting to find something at Florida a little bit with him. And DJ kind of splitting it, and Chim's been getting after. We've seen some other guys getting after it. I've noticed it's FCS. Keontae Lewis. I don't know if y'all remember. He's been at Southern Illinois. He is he's a top 3 receiver in FCS right now. He is. He is getting after it. So
I ain't gonna lie. I'm sad we lost him. He's from my neck of the woods.
I know.
So Southern Illinois. Yeah.
Yeah, and like Matt Anderson says here in the chat, we always ride with our Badger boys. Darn right we do.
Yeah, once a Badger, always a Badger, 100%. And DK was definitely one of our favorite players. I know we were talking about him last. One of our favorite players to watch. Definitely glad he found a place to land on his feet. Keep up the great work. I'm sure that kid will get an opportunity at the next level.
Oh, definitely. Oh, most definitely. And Skylar Bell too, man. He's been balling out at Connecticut. He's been doing his thing too. So I'm glad to see him because Skylar really struggled with drops last year, and I'm glad that he's gotten it back on his feet because he's a talented kid too as well. So, but shout out to the receiving corps. Just shout out to like these guys for like after that USC loss, like things could have gone really downhill, really fast. Yeah. And I huge shout out to the coaching staff, to Coach Fick, to Coach Longo, to my guy Brady Collins in the strength room, just bringing these guys together to really, there was a lot of hand wringing after the back-to-back losses, and people saying, oh, this is the downfall. And it's college football. Things can turn around pretty quickly.
100%.
Just as my boys here in my hometown of Nashville, Tennessee, at Vanderbilt down the road, just how fast things can turn around from losing to Georgia State to beating Alabama. But you know what, guys? That's why we love college football. That's why college football. There ain't nothing like it. Like we love the NFL. We all love the NFL. The NFL football is amazing, but college is special.
I feel like I think college football is so much more exciting. It's my opinion.
Yeah. My opinion. NFL playoffs is where it's at.
NFL playoffs for sure. Yeah.
NFL playoffs are special, but man, like any given Saturday, baby. Any given Saturday is where it's at. We appreciate everyone here tuning in and being where we're at here for this little half-hour show tonight with the crew. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure you're subscribing to both Bleav in Badgers and the Money Down. Join us Money Down Mondays. We go live at 10 Eastern, 9 Central every Monday night. Tap in with us. We answering the questions, talking NFL, CFB, all that good stuff. Me and Bernie Monday morning fullback. We'll be around. Got some, more Money Down, some more Bleav in Badgers coming this week. We got
in with us.
New partnerships coming up, some guests, and just all the good stuff. So appreciate everyone tuning in to Bleav in Badgers and the Money Down on the Bleav Network, presented by BetOnline.ag and Oak Ridge Wealth Management. Appreciate y'all, and until next time, on Wisconsin.
On Wisconsin, baby.
Let's go.